Here in Cincinnati, Ohio, at one of the best steak restaurants in the nation, one of the best experiences that you'll have as well. This is Jeff Ruby's Steakhouse, one of 6 that they own throughout the country. I can't wait to show you what this is like inside. Let's go check it out.
Welcome.
Great
How
to
we
see
doing,
you,
Mike?
man.
Good
Thanks
to
a
see
lot.
you.
Great
Welcome
to
back.
see you. I appreciate it.
Glad to have you here.
Yeah, me too. I'm looking forward to seeing all that you have here. This place is awesome.
Isn't it
There's
cool?
so much character.
We're really excited to have you here and to show it off again. So.
Thanks. Yeah, let's
Welcome.
talk about this here. I remember you said this. Where did this bar come from?
This bar is from late 1890s. Actually, it was designed by a team here in Cincinnati, and at the time they would sell the design to the market that was purchasing it, and it was built at a hotel in New York, and actually was transferred from one hotel to another hotel, and actually worked its way across the country to where our antique dealer found it in, I believe, Seattle or Washington, and brought it back here for us. It's one of the most beautiful bars we've ever seen. The woodworking throughout here with all the lion heads. There's over 200 beveled mirrors that are the original mirrors.
A lot of character, a lot of fun. The precinct, I've been there a couple times. The old police station.
Yeah, it's cool.
You know, here you talk about some of these, like, look at these chandeliers. Like, I love the design.
So one thing that's important to my dad is finding those chandeliers with the design. We find that the chandeliers are a big focal point of our ambiance here, and without this beautiful ambiance, it doesn't really give you that full Jeff Ruby experience that what we like to deliver. So he finds these chandeliers. We have a warehouse full of chandeliers. You know, some of these chandeliers have come from some really famous locations and movie scenes and things like that that are important to him that we thought would be a perfect fit here for this location. I think something that's important is the celebrities that they come to us, and you know, when you get celebrities that have come in, they've eaten all over the world. They've been to the best restaurants. Their expectations are a little bit higher than some people that maybe don't get a chance to travel and eat out as much. So when we get them in and we get to hear a compliment from them about how it was the most beautiful place they've ever been, knowing their history and where they've been and the things that they've seen, we like to get a picture and show some of the celebrities that have been into our locations.
Wow.
So we've got hundreds of them. These are constantly evolving. We'll take some old ones down, put new ones in, bring in new celebrities, but there's some pretty famous names up here that you might notice.
How about the experiences you've had? Who was, like, probably your favorite, or give me a great story about some of these people that have been here? This is pretty impressive.
I'm going to say, actually, for me, it's an easy one. I think it's Chris Collinsworth. Chris was a famous Bengal in the 80s. He played with Boomer Esiason. The two of those gentlemen built a relationship up with my father when we opened the waterfront, and have been investors in our company now. You've seen the steak Collinsworth, I'm sure you've had. We've named that steak over at the 12-ounce filet and the king crab and
I've had that one
the
before,
sauces and
actually,
asparagus.
yes.
It's one of our signature dishes here. But Chris has always been just a great down-to-earth person, and you know, when he comes in, you know, he calls the waiters by their names. He remembers everybody. He's just extremely nice and generous. It's just a good example of one of the many celebrities that we get in that you know, really appreciate what we do.
That's pretty cool. Like, just the people that you've met, you know, that have come here, and I know it's talk about the beginning, because it was from the Cincinnati Reds that your dad got to know that really got this thing started.
It's kind of a cool story. You know, he went to Cornell University, and he was recruited from Weingartner Hammonds to run Holiday Inns, and they asked him a couple options whether he wanted to go to Syracuse or Cincinnati. So, you know, I really don't want to go to Syracuse. I don't know a whole lot about that, but he grew up listening to 700 WLW. And listening to the Reds at night because it was broadcasted throughout the East Coast. So he got to know a lot of the Reds by listening to them and hearing the games. And when he said, you know what, I'm going to go to Cincinnati then because of that. I've got a little bit of something that I know. I'm a Reds fan now, and I'm going to go to Cincinnati and operate the Holiday Inns in that market. So he was overseeing 7 different Holiday Inns at the time when he knew that he wanted to open his first restaurant. The people that were coming into the Holiday Inns, he had a really nice nightclub there, Lucy's in the Sky. The celebrities after the games would come in and hang out with him for the night, and sometimes even stay at the hotel. And he built that relationship up with people like Johnny Bench and Pete Rose and Sparky Anderson. And he went to these guys when he knew he wanted to do a restaurant, said, hey, I want to build a restaurant. And that's when they decided they were going to build the Precinct in 1981.
One of the things that made it a great experience for us when we came here, we went to the Precinct, was the staff, was the people that you have working here.
Exactly.
I mean, the steaks are unmatched. I mean, it's a high quality. We knew that. We loved them. We enjoyed it. But it's the experience. And I know that's your area of expertise, and you can't skip on that. It's got to be a great experience, or people, you know, they don't want to come.
When we talked about the ambiance and how beautiful the restaurant is, we've talked about the steaks and the processes that go into selecting our beef and serving the best product out there. But if you're not doing that with the highest level of service, you're not delivering the type of experience that we call the Jeff Ruby experience, which is what really sets it all apart. we believe our employees are our biggest asset in the company. And without them, we're not able to build emotional connections with the guests, which is what keeps those guests continuing to come back and really just enjoying memories with us. We feel that people don't go to our restaurants just because they're hungry. We say they can go to a refrigerator when they're hungry. They're coming to us because they want to live an experience and have a memory for life, and that's what we're able to provide. And we do that through the highest level of service, which requires a lot of training, so we have some of the best staff we believe out there.
Executive Chef Michael Kelly here at Jeff Ruby Steakhouse. This is where all the magic happens. This is where I'm trying to figure out why the steaks taste so good and what you guys do. Are you going to be able to tell us a little bit of the behind the scenes and how that works?
Absolutely. So
All
a couple of things that go on here at the Jeff Ruby Steakhouse that makes us unique and different from any other steakhouse in the country is we only use the highest quality ingredients, so prime steak. We have a mixture between dry and wet aged steak. We cook everything in our high temp broiler.
I feel it right now. This thing's hot.
So you can imagine with both of them running in the middle of service, it gets hot back here.
Yeah.
And we also have our proprietary Jeff Ruby seasoning that we season every steak with, the top and bottom of the steak, and before it goes into the broiler. So once we put it into the broiler, we get a nice char on it on both sides. We cook it to the desired temperature, depending on what size the steak is.
Yeah, now that's it, because it's all about the temperature in there too, right?
Yes,
because
sir.
you have thick pieces of meat, and we've all tried to do that at home on our grill and our, and if you don't have it at a lower temperature, you're going to burn the top or bottom.
Well, this is actually 1,600 degrees, so it's hot in here.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so like if you wanted the same type of, we actually sell the Platinum Jeff Ruby seasoning tins.
I took it home.
So if you want to do it at home, what you do is you get your cast iron skillet really hot, season both sides, and then put it in your cast iron skillet and get that nice char on it that you expect when you come into our steakhouse. And then you could just pop it in the oven for a few minutes to get to the temperature that you desire. And this is one of our more popular steaks here. So this is our 22-ounce dry-aged ribeye. And then this is one of our more popular steaks here. This is our steak Collinsworth. So this is a 12-ounce filet, and we put 1 ounce of king crab on it with béarnaise and bordelaise sauce.
How long does it take to cook that? I like mine medium rare. Is that okay? That's how you want it, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, yeah.
So the thicker, everybody kind of thinks, the thicker the steak, the longer that it takes to cook. But the broilers are so hot, they cook pretty quickly. So we could get this 12-ounce filet to mid-rare in about 11 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, and you're doing probably about 30 of them at once, right?
Yeah, so at any given time, both of these broilers could be full of steaks from anywhere between 45 to 100 steaks at one time. So it gets pretty busy back here.
How many people are back here?
We typically run with myself and 8 other people. So it's a large production, but it's not that large. I know that, like Brandon was talking about earlier, it gets crazy and hectic, but it's kind of all synchronized, and we're all moving in the same pace.
Nate, what do we have here?
We've got our jumbo tiger prawns, Virginia oysters from the Chesapeake Bay. This is a Kumamoto from the Hood Canal in Washington State, and this is Alaskan red king crab. This is the highest grade king crab that there is that you can buy. It represents less than 2% of the king crab that's available to the U.S. market. And then, of course, a poached live Maine lobster. Mustard Dijonnaise, cocktail sauce, and horseradish to accompany.
What do we got, like 5 states covered here? 5, 6 states? This is
Exactly,
awesome.
right?
I mean, you go everywhere to get this stuff,
By the time you finish
right?
dinner, you've got yourself an intercontinental dinner.
I love it. Probably some of the biggest shrimp I've ever seen.
They sure are. And Mike, one of the things I always tell everyone is, we're famous for steaks, but one of the things that's overlooked is how fresh and great our seafood is. We have some of the best seafood available. As you can see here, this is one of the best ways to start out a meal on the right foot.
How do you find all these places, develop all these relationships to get all this food, serve it like we were talking about earlier in the highest quality,
Sure.
but to mass amounts of people?
It's not easy. We have a director of culinary. His name is Travis Meyer, and one of the things he does really well is sources the absolute highest quality product that we can get, knowing the amount of volume that we're going to need, which isn't an easy task for him. So he's done a great job from seafood to produce, obviously to steaks as well, making sure that we procure the best available ingredients on the market.
This is great. I know all your restaurants have like different themes, different character menus.
Mm-hmm.
What would be the one here where I could get the best steak or the best seafood? What's that one together?
I would say the steak Collinsworth is our staple at each location. That's
Okay.
the 12-ounce filet mignon with
Yeah.
the steamed Alaskan king crab meat. They take it out of the shell, put it right on top of the steak after it comes off the broiler, and they finish it with a nice mushroom bordelaise sauce, a béarnaise sauce, and some steamed asparagus. You really can't go wrong there. It's a nice composed dish and a healthy meal to
That's
enjoy.
great. That's great. Collinsworth gets a lot of love here.
He does.
Yeah,
He does.
He does a
We
great
love
job,
him.
man. He's one of the best.
Here we
Two
are.
of our signature
Wow.
items here. This is a USDA Prime bone-in ribeye that's been dry aged for 21 days. And this is one of our signature dishes, steak Collinsworth, a Jeff Ruby 12-ounce center cut filet mignon, topped with steamed Alaskan king crab, asparagus tips, sauce béarnaise, and bordelaise on the plate.
And this is the one you talk about all the time,
That's
man.
the one. That's what got us going.
It's the Collinsworth.
This is my favorite steak here, though. Is the we call it the cowboy steak? Is the ribeye. As great as the filet mignon is, this is going to have just a little bit more flavor. One of the things a lot of people like to do is take the Collinsworth preparation and apply it to any steak off of the menu. So
Gotcha.
we can get the best of both worlds that way.
It looks
Yeah.
so good. It tastes even better. But when I first had your steak over at the precinct years ago, it was about that rub. You know,
Yeah,
I was like,
absolutely,
what
yeah.
are they doing? What do they
Yeah.
put on this steak
Yeah.
that makes it so good? So you're never going to tell us about that. But
Sure.
you can buy it. You can take it home with you, right?
We
You
won't
can-
tell you what's in it, but we're happy to sell
Yeah,
it to you.
exactly right, yeah.
Absolutely. So go ahead.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. All right, let's do it. All right.
What do you think?
I love it. It's great.
The way you remember it?
Yep.
All right.
Absolutely. Juicy, like it just, I don't know, just the way you guys, it's just perfectly cooked.
Yeah.
You know, which I find, you know, it's not everybody can do this. You know.
Absolutely.
With this, a thick piece of meat with your seasoning. Michael was great with telling us about how he
Yeah,
does it back
yeah.
there.
Yeah, there's something about that first bite of a great steak when you cut into it and you get to enjoy that. It feels like you've done something good, doesn't it? Yeah.
What is
All right.
this?
Chocolate cake. So this is our
I-
corporate pastry chef Eric Clark's. This is one of
Wow.
his masterpieces. We call him the Sugar Whisperer. Eric has put together here a 4 or 5 layer chocolate cake. I'll let Nate describe.
Yeah, 4 layers of moist chocolate cake with chocolate fudge buttercream, homemade strawberry sauce, and chocolate ganache. One of our signature desserts here at the steakhouse.
Do you do a 6 or 7 layer, or is this the highest it's going to go?
Chef
He
Clark
could
has
do more. Don't
actually-
tempt him.
Chef Clark has actually prepared some cakes throughout the years that have been almost twice as tall.
Really?
For special occasions, different events here in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
You get one for the table on this one.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Nice.
this is pledged to share for at least 4 or 5. I've put this down in front of tables of 6, and they
How
haven't
do
been able
you-
to finish it.
Dig into it without it falling all
Well, you
Gotta
got to go
start
for that
somewhere.
first bite on the.
like all the way
Yeah,
down
go
here?
for it.
Okay. And I'm supposed to be watching my weight.
We won't tell anybody.
Yeah, I'm not here to judge.
Where are you watching?
I'll help you out.
Oh. Yeah, that's awesome.
What a way to
Moist.
finish a meal.
Yep, exactly.
You know.
All right, so the can I get this in every one of your restaurants?
You can.
There's nothing I don't like. It's perfect. 100%.